Hey guys, it's Pierce, and today I'm hanging out with CelebrityHauteSpot to tell you a little bit about me and my music. I really started in the music industry when I was 15 professionally, but I've been writing since I was 13. When I was 13, I produced and wrote my first song, and I put it out on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere at the time, and I was really proud of it. It was a very sweet little lullaby. And from there, I kind of kept writing some more experimental stuff, got into like indie rock pop, and I was actually taken to a pretty big record label in Los Angeles, and we were planning to take my music to Sweden when at the time I wanted to move to Nashville and start writing for their country division. So I requested to be transported to Nashville. We moved here, my entire family, so that I could pursue my country dreams, and along the way I found a really amazing community here in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've gotten back on the train for electronic pop, and that's kind of my lane right now. So it's taken a little bit of a winding road to lead me here, but it's been a great journey, and I cannot be more grateful for it. Biggest inspiration is my mom and my grandmother, who just passed away. And my mom, because she really raised me in the music industry and the entertainment industry in general. I grew up in acting classes, dance classes, music lessons every day, and she never wanted me to stop pursuing my dreams and to really make a name for myself on the world stage. So she's always been in the background pushing me along, and she's still my best friend to today. And then my grandmother is definitely the epitome of femininity and strength to me, and I was very close with her when I was growing up. And she was a champion tennis player and a trumpet player, and she was an accountant and just kind of a Renaissance woman. And so I really want to embody her spirit and her fight to the end in my own life. And so, yeah, just inspired by some amazing women very close to me. My sound is a bit experimental right now. We're trying to get a different sound, like something that no one's ever really done before, and try to use my image and my vision and put it into a sound and a musical form. So it's kind of hard to explain. The best I can do is electronic pop with a little bit of an indie edge to it, but it's very bubbly and vibey, and I always say it's bubblegum pop, so that's kind of my little buzzword. However, I also have a much darker, dreamier side, so I'm going kind of in between super bubblegum girly and then very dark, sad pop EDM. So I really like blending both of those and kind of having light meet dark sometimes. So my new EP is called Influencers, and it's coming out January 31st with all the 5 amazing songs I've put together for you guys. And they're all originals by me. I've worked with some great co-writers. I have some amazing producers here in Nashville, so it took a village to put this together. But the name Influencers and the album is really discussing social media and the way it's affected me personally as well as society around me. So I've been an influencer for a few years. I started a professional fashion blog when I was 15, and I continued it up until like last year. I started really focusing on just music. So I've seen the ins and outs of the influencer blogger world and the way social media has created a new space for creativity as well as a different class structure in society where anyone can be a celebrity overnight, and that to me is a fascinating phenomenon. I really wanted this EP to be kind of a time capsule of this very strange, very new time period in our human history, and so hopefully in the future students can even study the EP and look back and see the way we lived in this new technology time. My favorite song off the EP is definitely Happy. It's one you haven't heard yet, but it's going to be a very big splash, I think. Everyone that I show it to just can't get enough. And it really discusses the pain that I've gone through after my traumatic brain injury in 2015. So I have since struggled with serious depression and anxiety and a lot of other issues, but those are the main two that people can understand and relate. too. So I really wanted to put that out there and kind of put a piece together to focus on mental health and awareness for, such disabilities that people don't really understand still, and at least we're talking about more in modern culture. But I think it's always good to have a very honest, very even disturbing look into what it's really like. So I wanted this song to sound the way I feel when I'm having a panic attack. So it'll be a very immersive journey, that song, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. It's also a very cool vibe. It's very upbeat, but it has so much honesty in it. If you really listen to the lyrics, it can break your heart a little bit, but it's also fun to dance to. So it's kind of a weird dichotomy there. And then the song Influencers itself is really wild. It starts off as this like cool pop hit, and then it goes to like Latin samba and salsa, and then it goes into this orchestral operatic ending. So that's just my little brainchild of doing whatever I want, and we had a blast with that in the studio. And then there's another track on there called Coffee, and that's probably the dreamiest thing I've ever written or heard. My producers just took a bunch of sounds from my voice and created this world, and we wanted it to sound like you're underwater. So it's definitely a magical experience, and I just can't wait for you guys to hear it. So like I said, I was an influencer for a long time, and I wasn't very high level at the time, so I did get some money. I got a lot of free product, but it's definitely a job, and it's definitely something you have to work at. And people think that it's just an overnight success sort of thing, and it usually isn't. It usually takes a lot of hard work, and building fans and building credibility takes a long time. So even people who look like they just appeared overnight have probably put in at least 5 years into building their brand online. So if you are interested in being an influencer, I think the biggest thing is just developing your voice and your unique brand. And I'm actually a marketing expert in my free time. And the biggest thing for me is just developing a visual so that you're recognizable the second that someone sees your page or your content. You have to, have engaging content, but definitely quality over quantity. And reach out to people, really develop relationships, and speak to people about things that they're passionate about, and then they will be passionate about you as well. So it's definitely a reciprocal kind of position, and as long as you're creating a name for yourself and really a unique standpoint, then I think you'll do well. So yes, my hair is pink. I think it's gonna be pink for a while. I would like to go back to black, but I've kind of really developed this pink aesthetic, and vibe, and it's gonna be kind of hard to make that transition for a while. But I've really loved being all pink and cute and girly, and it's been a big part of my visual and my brand. So I think it's here to stay for at least a few more years. I just wrote another amazing song with one of my biggest songwriter friends here in Nashville, and it's going to be the next single coming out. I'm not exactly sure when, but I think in summer we're going to be releasing that, and then after that we're going to have another EP launch that's going into a little bit darker pop, a little bit more Billie Eilish themed sounding. So I'm really excited for that. It's going to be a very cool year of transition, because right now I'm extremely pink and bubblegum, and then I think I'm going to transition into a little bit of a darker area coming next year. So I would love for you guys to follow me on social media at Pierce Music. It's PI3RCE Music on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and YouTube. And definitely check out my music on Spotify. The EP is going to be very cool, and I would love to hear your feedback if you guys do listen to it. So go online, say hi, and thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having an awesome new year. And don't forget to check out what's coming up new on CelebrityHauteSpot.